This week, we're looking at some seriously bullish news for Ethereum, and it's coming in many forms. Most notably, something that we've been waiting on for what feels like years, certainly since DeFi summer of 2020, when literally the Uniswap gas fee crisis shut the door for so many small retail investors. Now, we see the first glimpse of Uniswap v3, and we can only imagine that what lies in the future will be a significantly upgraded user experience on arguably the most important piece of decentralized finance infrastructure in existence. We know that decentralized trading on Uniswap is one of the most important things of the modern bull run, and having a new version of Uniswap means that we can look forward to some serious growth for Ethereum. Not only that, but this comes right at the time that optimistic Ethereum, by far the most anticipated layer 2 scaling solution for general smart contracts purposes, is coming to market. We have Matic and soon Immutable X for NFTs, but optimism really feels like where a lot of these big DeFi applications want to be moving. So if you guys are excited for us to go through everything bullish about what's going on with Ethereum right now, and there is a lot to get through, then go ahead, destroy that like button, and remember as always that each and every comment on this video is entered to win your very own hardware wallet. As always, there are scammers in the comments pretending to be me. That is not me. I will never ask you to send me funds or contact me on WhatsApp. That's just not my style, guys. With that said, let's dive in. Well, you see it here loud and clear. We're looking at Uniswap v3 that has just been announced, and it is being argued by the team that this is 4,000x more capital efficient, right? And this is a huge sticking point of Uniswap, is how important the capital efficiency is. Well, it's not the biggest sticking point. The biggest sticking point is fees, but we're going to get there a little bit later. Let's start with a new concept to a lot of you, which is Uniswap liquidity providers and their capital efficiency. Now, for most people, they go onto Uniswap, they make a trade, they want to trade Ethereum for some exotic altcoin that they think is going to moon, and most of you who are really good traders out there, well, you're darn right, you're absolutely going to make some astronomical gains on that one. I hope. Well, the reality is that most people don't do the thing that Uniswap was really designed around, which is provide liquidity. Liquidity providers, or LPs as they're called, are the heart and soul of Uniswap, and they're the reason why this decentralized trading experience can flourish in such the way that it has. Anyone can create a trading pair on Uniswap by putting two different coins together and issuing a pool. All they have to have is two coins, and they can create an entire market that automatically balances through the magic of an automated market maker, which we're not going to explain all of it right now. But the point is, the people who put the money in that you end up trading against, buying and selling against, they get paid fees on all the trades. Those LPs or liquidity providers, they actually have their money earning money in those pools. And that's why it's really exciting to provide liquidity for good projects. It's also risky because you could experience something called impermanent loss. Again, another topic that is too long for us to discuss today. But Uniswap v3 promises something called concentrated liquidity. Now, concentrated liquidity is the idea that you can actually allocate your money for specific price ranges of liquidity. Now, what you might not know about the way an automated market maker works is that prices can trade all over the place. If someone goes into a very small pool and buys $1 million worth of a coin, it can send that price all the way over to the wide end of the spectrum, all the way up or all the way down. What you need to know is that parts of the liquidity in the pool are being reserved for those extreme use cases when the pool goes and tilts crazy to one side or the other. Now, for the most part, for a lot of markets, that's not actually where you want to be leaving your funds. You want them to be right in the sweet spot. For example, if you have a DAI USDC pair, these are two stable coins that should be almost exactly $1 at all times. So if I'm going to put money in the DAI USDC vault, then I really want it all concentrated between 99 cents and $1.01. That would be where all of the action really should be. So if some of my capital is being, saved for these extreme cases where one goes all the way down to a penny or all the way up to $2, then I'm really losing out here because my money's not being fully deployed in this sweet spot where 99.99999% of times, this is going to be where the market trades. So you can see here with this visual that you can essentially decide where you want your money to be working within these liquidity pools. And I know this is quite a bit of new information, liquidity pools, provider fees, but if you've caught up to this point, you actually understand a lot about how these mechanisms work. And understanding these mechanisms, I think, is pretty important to getting ahead to that next level of understanding DeFi. So as you can see, this little band, you can say exactly where you want your money to go to work. For example, you could have it here in this 94 cents to 98 cents, or $445 to $1,252 to $12,527. You decide is the point. And this is how you have something called concentrated liquidity. I think this is actually pretty interesting and definitely a feature that I would think makes Uniswap v3 a significantly better ecosystem. Now, what would Uniswap v3 be without some ode to the NFT craze? Now, obviously, this is not, I think, the even most elegant way to do this, but because people will be setting their own price curves, not all liquidity providers will be equal. Even if I provide $100 to the DAI USDC vault and you provide $100 to the DAI USDC pool, if I set a price range of 98 cents to $1.02 and you set a price range of 99 to 101, then our two liquidity provider tokens are actually different. And so they can't just be a single token in ERC20 like has been the case. So they're actually going to be NFTs. And these NFTs will be unique. And so this to me is a different way to go about it. I personally see this as kind of less advantageous than the previous example, but it just has to be this way because each liquidity provider's customization will be different. So this is an interesting little wrinkle in what's going on here. I obviously love it when you see NFTs being used for interesting things, but I do think that in some ways this is a step backward. They also have advanced oracles coming in and all this great stuff, but let's be honest, what everybody wants from Uniswap is lower fees. That's all we want. No, the reality is that Uniswap is just a user of a blockchain, and the gas fee crisis is more an issue that Ethereum has to fix, or it has to be fixed by a creative and intelligent use of layer 2 scaling. And that's where we get Optimism, which is of course one of the most anticipated upgrades to the Ethereum ecosystem, which provides layer 2 scaling. We do have Matic, and we are looking forward to Immutable X, which is focused almost exclusively on NFTs. But Optimism is an interesting new competitor here, looking to provide their own scaling solutions, and they already have buy-in from Synthetics and apparently Uniswap. So given the fact that Optimism is in their soft launch phase, we can hopefully look forward to Optimism coming and saving the day and reducing gas fees to, quote, effectively zero. This is the promise of layer 2, is that it is extremely efficient with fee structures. So hopefully we can get something like that. We know with QuickSwap on Matic, we already have extremely low gas fees. We know that on Binance Smart Chain, the fees are almost completely non-existent. And so hopefully we can get a similar environment going for trading on Ethereum. Now, of course, I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of the complexities of this, but just know that with Optimistic coming to Ethereum, this is a huge step forward, and it gets us closer to that eventual reality that we all want, that we can have our cake, our Ethereum secure, long-lasting, battle-tested, decentralized infrastructure with the thing that we want most, which is an incredibly good user experience. And as we know, people will choose a good user experience over decentralization when the fees get too high. And we did see the fees get way too high recently. So hopefully we can get a combination of Optimistic Ethereum, which is in its soft launch phase, and V3 of Uniswap together to spell out an incredible new coat of paint on the Ethereum ecosystem and solidify most likely Ethereum again as the blockchain of choice going forward if there's no issues with fees. And what would any episode be without a little bit of motivation for those who may be a little bit shaken up by the recent movements of the market? Well, let's look to Onchain Metrics expert Willy Woo, who says that anyone selling right now is cray-cray. Seriously, strong long-term holders are buying this dip. Now, the first chart he puts up here, which I think is really important to pay attention to, is this blue line is all of the coins leaving exchanges over the course of March. There are very few coins still left on exchanges. I mean, not very few. There's thousands of Bitcoin left on exchanges, but you can see that the trend is very much that people are removing Bitcoin from exchanges, which usually is a sign of long-term holding. What we see here on the other chart is the Bitcoin price. As Bitcoin has grown in value, people have been removing the coins from exchanges. That's usually a very good sign. The second chart he posted here is essentially the transition here from people who are selling to people who are long-term strong holders. And so this particular particular chart is showing that as people are removing coins from exchanges, they're going into the hands of long-term holding wallets, strong-handed long-term holders, those diamond hands that do not have a history of selling. The translation here is that the ecosystem looks like it's transferring coins from the weak-handed to the strong-handed, which is usually a sign that there is more upside ahead. That's typically the sign. When you see these old wallets selling, that's when you know something might be up. So there you have it, an absolutely incredibly bullish month for Ethereum, with V3 of Uniswap just a few weeks ahead. And we also have optimistic Ethereum in its rollout phase. This is truly a spectacular time to be alive in the Ethereum ecosystem. That said, there's a lot of excitement around all sides of the crypto ecosystem. Like I said many times before, it does appear that we still have more gas in the tank as far as this bull run is considered, and that means, in my opinion, that Ethereum should do incredibly well with all of this excitement around what's coming. Now, of course, no coin and no trend is stronger than the cycles of the market, but for now, it does appear that things are still in a very good position for this cycle. Just like Ethereum, I am optimistic, and I think that we have a lot to look forward to. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you got some value out of it, go ahead, destroy that like button, and remember, as always, each and every comment on this video is entered to win your very own hardware wallet. My name's Elio Trades. You can find me on Telegram or Twitter. The links for both of those are in the description. I have been tweeting a whole lot more since I founded my project and launched it, and that's because my time is extremely scarce, so my ability to make a full video has dwindled and dwindled. But as you can see, I'm pushing back and getting content out once again now that we've gotten through those first few weeks. If you guys want more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. My name's Elio Trades, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.